Hello and welcome to Learn with Hema's class. My dear students, today I am going to take up a very important topic in your grammar section, and the topic is phrases. Now, knowing phrases and its kinds is very easy once you know its trick to find out. Also, many students get confused between phrases and clauses. So, here in this session, I shall help you to distinguish easily between a phrase and a clause. So, here we start. Now, these are some sentences or a group of words you can say. First, we need to find out which of these group of words are sentences, and if any group of word is not a sentence, then what it is. The first one is, it is a sunny day today. Now, it is a sunny day today. We know it's a sunny day. It is a complete thing. We can easily understand the meaning. So, it is a sentence. In the nick of time. In the nick of time what? We cannot make complete sense from these group of words. Therefore, this is a phrase. Along the twisted path. Same. We cannot make out a complete meaning from these group of words. So, this also is a phrase. The mountaineers camped at the base. Now, here we can make out a complete sense from these group of words. Therefore, this is a sentence. The ice cold waters. Same like 2 and 3 example. We cannot make a complete sense. The ice cold waters. What? So, therefore, this is also a phrase. So, the numbers 2, 3 and 5. The group of words in these numbers are phrases, whereas 1, 4, the group of words in these numbers are sentences because they make complete sense. Now read these sentences. A man of few words, the headmaster stared at us with a grim expression, then turning towards the door, he asked our parents to come in. Now you can see there are some highlighted words in this sentence, that is a man of few words with a grim expression towards the door. Now if you take these highlighted words individually, that is a man of few words or with a grim expression or towards the door. So if you take these expressions individually, you won't understand any meaning. A complete sense cannot be known from these expressions. But if these expressions are used in sentences, they give a complete meaning. Now, when these group of words make themselves complete with the help of other group of words in a sentence, then these group of words are said to be phrases. And the phrases do not have finite verbs. They are only a part of a sentence to make sense. Okay? Otherwise, we cannot make their sense. Now, what is a phrase? Let's learn. A phrase is a group of words in a sentence that can do the work of a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. A phrase does not have a finite verb, but it can have non-finite verbs like infinitives, participles, and gerunds. So, it's very easy to understand a phrase. A phrase can do the work of a noun, it can do the work of an adjective, it can do the work of an adverb, but it does not have a finite verb. Instead, non-finite verbs such as infinitives, participles and gerunds are used while forming phrases. Now we can see which of the highlighted words, highlighted expressions are phrases. Now this is an exercise. Well, the large horse in the stable is mine. Now the highlighted expression is the large horse in the stable. We don't have any verb in this part. Therefore, this is a phrase. The members decided to buy shoes of good quality. Now shoes is a single word which is highlighted. Therefore, it is not a phrase. For being a phrase, you at least require 2 words or more than 2 words. That is a group of words. So, shoes is not a phrase. I believe that the man has the confidence required for the job. So believe that the. Now nothing can be sensed out of these three words. Believe that the. Even if it has to be a phrase, it has to be some incomplete sense, but it has to be some sense. But believe that the doesn't make any sense, though it has a verb, but it doesn't make any sense. So this is not a phrase. The incredible journey of the adventurers is now a part of folklore. Of course, this is a phrase, the incredible journey of the adventurers. At least some part is there, but some sense is made. So, this is a phrase. Though it cannot make a complete sense, therefore it is not a sentence. It is only a part of a sentence. If you win the competition, I will be the happiest. You win. Subject is there, verb is there. You win can be taken up as a phrase. Now, kinds of phrases we are coming to. The very first one is adjective phrase. How we can replace an adjective without changing the meaning of the sentence and convert it into an adjective phrase. Kolkata is a populous city. Now, the highlighted word is an adjective. You can see populous. Populous is adjective. Now, we can replace that with an adjective phrase. How? Just see. Kolkata is a city with a large population, right? Instead of writing populous city, we write a city with a large population. The meaning of the sentence doesn't change, but we have replaced an adjective with an adjective phrase. So, the highlighted expression is an adjective phrase that tells us something about the noun Kolkata, because it tells us more about the noun, and therefore we say that it is an adjective phrase. Any word that describes noun is an adjective. Now next we can read these sentences. She wore a dress of blue color. Again we can see, instead of writing of blue color, if we would have written she wore a blue dress, then we would have said that blue is adjective. But instead of writing it as an adjective, we have written it as a phrase. She wore a dress of blue color. So of blue color is your adjective phrase which describes the noun dress. The animals of the zoo are well fed. Now, the animals, which animals? It's something is said about the animals, that is of the zoo, are well fed. So of the zoo is your adjective phrase. A bangle made of platinum is expensive. Now made of platinum we have seen, it tells us more about a bangle. A bangle is a noun. So anything that tells us more about a noun is an adjective phrase. So these are all adjective phrases telling us something about a noun in the sentence. Some more examples if I want to say, I can say that the man with the scar on his arm is a detective. Okay, so I am describing the man with the scar on his arm. Again, he lives in a house built with adobe bricks. He lives in a house built with adobe bricks. So in this sentence, I have described a house, how the house is built. So that built with adobe bricks is your adjective phrase. Now read these sentences. The children sang the school song enthusiastically. The children sang the school song enthusiastically. Now this enthusiastically is your adverb, right? How did the school song? Like how did the children sang the school song? Na, how? Manner. It tells you the manner. So this is an adverb. The highlighted word can be replaced with the phrase with enthusiasm, right? The children sang the school song with enthusiasm, if we say like that, without changing the meaning of the sentence. So, if an adverb is replaced with a group of words without changing the meaning and it modifies the verb sang or whichever the verb is, then it is an adverb phrase. Okay, it should tell us the manner. That is adverb phrase. Now this is one. There are many how we can find out adverb phrase. We ask questions for that. Now read the sentences. The seeds were scattered in all directions. Where? We can ask the question to scattered where. So in all directions. The artists will arrive within an hour. Arrive when? We are asking a question. When? Within an hour. The audience cheered at the top of their voices. How? At the top of their voices. So, cheered how, scattered where, arrive when. So, we are asking questions where, when and how to the verbs. Therefore, when we get the answers, we say them that they are adverb phrases. For adverb phrases, I can give you 1, 2, 3 more examples. For example, he danced in a graceful manner. He danced how? In a graceful manner. Next, she left the stage after the performance. When? She left the stage. When? After the performance. So, after the performance will be your adverb phrase. Again, Randhir lives near his house. Randhir lives where? Near his house. So, this is again your adverb phrase. Now you can see this thing. This is a comparison of an adjective and an adverb phrase. Very simple to understand. He lost the bag at the shopping mall. The woman at the shopping mall looked worried. Both the phrases are same. At the shopping mall, at the shopping mall. But there is a difference. The first phrase is your adverb phrase, whereas the second phrase is your adjective phrase. How? Now the first phrase answers where to the verb. He lost the bag at the shopping mall. He lost the bag where? At the shopping mall. So it answers the question where. So this is your adverb phrase. Next, the woman at the shopping mall. Which woman? At the shopping mall. So it answers, it gives you more information of woman, which is a noun. Therefore, this is your adjective phrase. Okay. So this is very easy to find out between adjective phrase and adverb phrase. Now, underline the adjective phrases in these sentences and then replace each with an adjective. Now, this is an exercise, a very small and simple exercise. Adjective phrases we have to underline as well as we have to replace them with an adjective. A man of great wealth entered the room. So the adjective phrases of great wealth, because it tells us more about man, which is a noun. So to replace it with an adjective, I can say of great wealth means we can use the word wealthy. A wealthy man entered the room. Right? We have replaced of great wealth with wealthy. I admit that Mr. Gomes is a man of skill. Man of skill. Of skill is your adverb phrase. Adjective phrase. So I admit that Mr. Gomes is a skillful man. Right? Instead of skill, we have replaced it with an adjective skillful. A receptionist with a glum expression received us. With a glum expression. This is your adjective phrase, with a glum expression. What can be an adjective for this? A glum receptionist received us. Right? Or a gloomy receptionist received us. Next, the miners had collected diamonds of great value. Now, of great value is the adjective phrase over here. Okay, it tells us more of diamonds. Of great value is the adjective phrase. So to replace it with an adjective, the miners had collected valuable diamonds. I left behind the handkerchief with mud on the chair. So with mud is your adjective phrase over here, which tells you more about handkerchief. I left behind the muddy handkerchief on the chair. So with mud I have made it muddy. So that was your adjective phrase, an adjective used in a sentence. Now read these sentences. The boy wants water. That is, the boy wants to drink water. See, in the first sentence, there only water is there at the end. The boy wants water. Only water is the object. And in the second sentence, this object has taken place in the form of a phrase. The boy wants to drink water. So to drink is infinitive. So a phrase has taken place in the place of object water. This is a noun phrase. When a noun is replaced with a phrase, this is called as noun phrase. So a noun phrase is a group of words that does the work of a noun and it answers the question what or who. It answers the question what or who. For example, if you read these sentences, eating small portions is a good habit. It helps to lose weight. What is a good habit? So you are asking a question, na? What is a good habit? Eating small portions is a good habit. So eating small portion is your noun phrase. It helps to lose weight. It helps what? To lose weight. I like to eat strawberries with cream. I like what? I like to eat. So we are getting answers to what? Therefore these all are noun phrases. I like to eat strawberries with cream. What is a good maxim to follow? Early to bed is a good maxim to follow. So early to bed is a noun phrase. Why? Because it answers what? Okay, to the verb. To win the prize was the desire of each athlete. What was the desire? Right? To win the prize. So easily we can make out which is an adverb phrase, which is an adjective phrase, or which is a noun phrase. Now read this group of words. The old man works hard. Now we are learning about clauses. The phrases are over. Now we are learning about clauses, and now after learning a little on clauses, we are going to distinguish between a phrase and a clause. So read this group of words. The old man works hard. A complete sentence, right? This is a complete sentence we can make out. Although I was there. Now although I was there, it doesn't make a complete sense, but see, it has a subject also, I, and it has a verb also, was. Therefore this is not a phrase. This is a clause. When the sun sets. Now again, when the sun sets doesn't make a complete sense, but it has the subject the and the sun. The subject is the sun and verb sets, which is a finite verb. Therefore this is also a clause. Reena wore earrings which were made of pure silver. Now this entire thing is a sentence which can be a clause also. Okay, because we have verb over here, subject over here, and object. You have learned that a group of words that contains a finite verb, right? When we learned the phrases, we just learned that a group of words which contains a finite verb and it has a subject and a predicate but forms a part of a sentence is called a clause. A clause that can stand on its own is called the main clause. It is also known as an independent primary or principal clause, right? So if a group of sentence can stand on its own, that is whereby we can understand the complete meaning of those group of words, then that group of word is said to be a main clause. And sometimes if a complete meaning is not known, though it has a subject and a verb, it can not be a main clause. Then it acts as a helping clause, you can say, or dependent clause, like that we can say. So the main clause which makes a complete sense on its own is said to be independent clause or primary clause or principal clause. Normally you are given sentences and you are asked to identify the main clause and the subordinate clause. So main clause is a sentence which a complete meaning can be known. It can stand alone. And independent clause or subordinate clause which depends on the main clause for its complete sense. Now the old man works hard is the main clause because entirely we can understand what it is. Reena wore earrings. If we say only this much, Reena wore earrings, this is also complete. Therefore Reena wore earrings is a main clause. which were made of pure silver. So this can be your subordinate clause. I have a pen friend who lives in New York. I have a pen friend. This much is enough for you to understand a sentence, a complete sentence. Therefore, this is a main clause or principal clause, you can say. Who lives in New York is your subordinate clause. This is the watch that my uncle gave me. This is the watch. This again makes a complete sense. Therefore, this is the watch is a main clause. That my uncle gave me is a subordinate clause. Now, each of these sentences, we see that the highlighted part is the main clause, which I just said above. The clause that requires the help of the main clause to complete the meaning is the subordinate clause or the dependent clause. So, now in these sentences, if I say you, which were made of pure silver, if independently I would have said only this much, you wouldn't have understood. But if I complete the sentence, Reena wore earrings which were made of pure silver, then which were made of pure silver is understood. That we are talking about earrings which Reena wore. Therefore, a subordinate clause is something which depends on the main clause for its complete meaning. Right? So, the clause that requires the help of the main clause to complete the meaning. I will repeat this thing. The clause that requires the help of the main clause to complete the meaning is the subordinate clause or the dependent clause. The subordinate clause is introduced by subordinating conjunctions, relative pronouns or relative adverbs. Now you can see in these sentences, these three sentences, the first one is a complete clause. You do not have any subordinate clause over there. It's a complete main clause. In the second sentence, we can see which were made of pure silver, which tells you more about the earrings, right? About the earrings, we have used the word which, that they are made of pure silver. So, which is your subordinator? Who? The next sentence, I have a pen friend who. Who is a relative pronoun. Okay, that is also a relative pronoun, which is also a relative pronoun. So these are subordinators. They can act as relative pronouns also in a sentence, and they are subordinators also. Again, we can see in these examples, although I was there, I didn't hear them shout. Now, the main clause is I didn't hear them shout, because this can easily be understood on its own. I didn't hear them shout. But if we see only although I was there doesn't make any complete sense on its own. It depends on the next part, that is I didn't hear them shout. Then it is a complete sense. Therefore, although I was there is your subordinate clause, that is dependent clause. When the sun sets, the birds return to their nests. The birds return to their nest, if we take only this much part, this is a complete sentence. But when we see when the sun sets, only this much we say, then it doesn't make a complete sense. In fact, when the sun sets depends on the next part, that is the birds return to their nest. It depends on this part. Therefore, when the sun sets is a subordinate clause, that is dependent clause. And the birds return to their nests is the main clause or principal clause, you can say. Now, each of these sentences, the highlighted part is the subordinate clause. I just said you the highlighted part are the subordinate clauses. So, when subordinate clauses go with the main clause, they make sense, right? Without the main clause, these subordinate clauses wouldn't have made any sense. Now, the last part which we have come to, we are going to study this table, and very easily we are going to find the difference between a phrase, a clause and a sentence. Also, some 10 examples we are going to do as an exercise whereby you can check yourself whether you have really understood what a phrase is, what a clause is, or what a sentence is. Now, if it is a phrase, it is a meaningful group of words. Clause, again clause is also a meaningful group of words, and sentence is also a meaningful group of words. So whether it has to be a phrase or a clause or a sentence, they have to be meaningful. It does not make complete sense in itself. Phrases, if we talk about phrases, they do not make complete sense, right? If we talk about clauses also, clauses, they may or may not make complete sense in itself. Okay, clauses, sometimes the clauses makes complete sense in themselves, but sometimes they may not. For example, if we talk about main clause, of course, main clause makes a complete sense. But we talk about a subordinate clause, they do not make a complete sense. So a clause, it can or it may not make complete sense in itself. But a sentence, it expresses a meaningful idea or a complete thought. But a sentence is given, a meaningful idea or a complete thought is mentioned in the sentence. So easily we can make out whether this is a sentence or no. Now phrase, it has no subject or predicate. In a phrase, it won't have any subject or predicate. Clause, it usually has a subject and a predicate. This is the main difference now here to understand. A phrase do not have a subject or a predicate. Phrase में subject नहीं होता है, predicate नहीं होता है. Clause में subject भी होता है, usually subject होता है और predicate भी होता है. Sentence, it will always have a subject and a predicate. Now again coming to the fourth point, phrases. Again a very important point, it does not have a finite verb. Phrases, it does not have a finite verb, whereas clause has a finite verb. And sentence also has a finite verb. So sentence and clauses more or less are similar, only that subordinate clauses are dependent on the main clause. Rest sentences and clauses are more or less similar, but phrase we can find out. Now here comes the exercise. So let's find out whether this is a phrase, whether the highlighted parts are phrases or clauses. So you can check it out for yourself, and I will also say, so whether the thing is right or wrong, you can make it out. The first sentence, according to you, what it should be. Looking at the books, I was reminded of our library at Dehradun. Now instead of going through the entire sentence, I know that I have to only answer the highlighted parts, whether it's a phrase or a clause, right? Now in the highlighted part, if I can see any finite verb, now looking at the books, I do not have any finite verb over here, right? Therefore it is a phrase, right? So a phrase should have a clause should have a finite verb, but this looking at the books, looking is your gerund, right? So this is not a clause, this is a phrase. After we had eaten a hearty meal, again we see after we had eaten, this we can have a finite verb, we can say. So this is a clause. Third sentence, there were so many boxes made of wood. The boxes which were made of wood. So this is a phrase over here. Okay. The men trudged up in a confident manner, although they did not know the way. Now here we have two things. We have a phrase also and we have a clause also. First, in a confident manner, only that much is a phrase, and next, although they did not know the way, is your clause. Initially, archaeologists had no clue that they had stumbled upon something significant. This is a clause because we have a finite verb over here as well as a relative pronoun or a subordinator, that. So this is a clause. Lying beneath many layers of prehistoric sediments was an invaluable statue. Now here you can see this highlighted words, lying beneath. Lying, now it's an gerund, again you can say. Lying beneath many layers of prehistoric sediments, that is, this is the ing form of the verb. Many layers of prehistoric sediments. So we have infinite verb and not a finite verb. Therefore, this becomes your phrase. Yes, this becomes your phrase. Many a time students think that longer ones are clauses and shorter ones are phrases. It is not like that. Even the longer one can be phrases and shorter ones can be clauses. So lying beneath many layers of prehistoric sediments. So the thing that we have to notice is the verb, what verb it is having. Okay. Some people say that there are ghosts in the building. Now here we have a verb, finite verb, subject is there, predicate is there. So that there are ghosts in the building is a clause, because that also we are having, which is again a subordinator. If asked, I shall certainly speak my mind. Now if asked again is a finite verb, therefore it cannot be a phrase, it is a clause. See, only two words are there, right? So one may feel अरे तो दो ही वर्ड है तो ये फ्रेज होगा, नहीं. आप वर्ब देखिए, वर्ब क्या है यहाँ पे, फाइनाइट वर्ब है asked, therefore this is a clause. Also we have a subordinator if. There are many who believe this to be true. Who believe this to be true. Believe आपका एक finite verb आ रहा है, right? So this is your clause. And who is as a subordinator, right? That is relative pronoun and used as a subordinator. So this is a clause. The magnificent monument stands on the banks of the Ganges. Now if we see on the banks of the Ganges, we can see that there is no verb in this sentence, no subject, no object. Okay. Therefore this is a phrase, on the banks of the Ganges. This is a phrase. So here we complete our this topic. I hope it was useful for you. Soon I'll come up with the clauses part. Till that time, stay safe, stay secure. Thank you.